Coops, Dogs yesterday, it was the type of victory they needed. It was a really tough game, but mate, their attack was fantastic. You can see those new combinations are starting to form.
Yeah, running the ball too. It was almost like they were told to run the football. Their ball playing needs to evolve, both Galvin and Matt Burton, but when Burton runs the ball, geez, he's hard to stop. Like, you think about some of the big body 5'8" like yourself that we've had through the competition.
Sure.
When they run the ball, like, it's dynamic and it creates chaos. And quick play the ball, momentum, geez, he was good.
I reckon it's the best performance I've seen from Burton in the 6 jersey.
Yep.
I thought he's really found his game. He's learnt how to integrate his ball playing with his running game and vary it. And
managing the game too. Like, he probably came in early on as just a pure footy player, running the ball, kicking the ball. But now he's making good decisions, leading the team around. Like, he's evolving into a hell of a player.
It's an interesting one, Coop. During that difficult period, those couple of weeks where everyone was looking at the Dogs going, geez, they're going backwards here. Yeah. And everyone was pointing to Lachlan Galvin's situation.
Yep.
I tell you, bloke, they missed dearly. And yesterday we saw on his return what a difference he makes is Bronson Cherry. Mate, he's a powerhouse in yardage and finishing. All this, like, honestly, when he takes the ball in yardage, he is always just poking his nose through.
It's one thing that Penrith have bought and everyone copies, that you need to have big outside backs. Well, not big, you just need, ones that get the yardage and quick play the balls. The Dogs have done it through Carraz, what Connor Tracy's doing now, Cherry's adding to it. Now, if you've got a back five that are willing to work hard out of their own end, but then can set up tries, score tries one-on-one, like, that's exactly what they need. That's Tom Trbojevic.
Mate.
That is Tom Trbojevic. He just dished there and got through here.
Yep. There's Drake's Jake over.
Yep.
And look, we had a discussion before the show and you mocked me and laughed at me. I made the comment
about
that I said, it's starting to become the norm, unfortunately. I actually said before the game, I think that Bronson Cherry, in not too distant future, I think he'll be the best centre in the game. I've got that big a rap on him. I just love what he does.
Well, he's not the best centre at the club first.
No, he's not at the moment.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
I think Stephen Crichton has got a hell of a lot more to go. I'm not denying that, but I think Rob Toyer could do something in the next couple of years. Like, there's some guys in our competition, very, very good.
What about both edges of the Bulldogs?
Yeah.
Crichton, Cherry, Villiamy, and Jacob Preston.
Yep.
Everyone, it's just such a well-balanced team.
There was a couple of moments in yesterday's game where they went left. It was either kick out one-on-one with Cherry Evans. Bronson Cherry did his thing. Burton was running the ball. But then you go to the right-hand side and Galvin didn't overplay his hand. Played out the back to Connor Tracy, set up a try. Like, there's just a couple of things that says that they can go both sides. And you need that. If you're going to win the competition, you can't be heavily weighted into one thing. Now that they've got multiple avenues to go, get the ball to Stephen Crichton, get the ball to Bronson Cherry, and you will score points.
On those edges, Some of the touches yesterday of Stephen Crichton, quick hands, one stage Connor Tracy, quick, ball in the line, just bang, bang, straight to Carraz. Carraz playing great.
It's a skill now in the game, that catch pass with hardly ever touching the football, that you must have. You cannot play the NRL at that level if you don't have that in your kit bag.
Coops, in terms of this competition, the big news over the course of the weekend was Jahrome Hughes, the shoulder injury. When the shoulder's out for that length of time, we're talking about before the show, it's not a good sign. Yeah,
I think that's the case. Like, the longer it's out, the harder it is to rehab and strengthen the ligaments and everything around the muscles around it. It's a big injury to come back from. Look what Olakau'atu did. 6 weeks, try to come out and rehab it?
Yeah.
Re-injured the injury. I don't know if Jahrome Hughes gets back, Matty. I don't. What do you reckon?
I get that sense too.
Excuse me.
I get that sense, and Bellyache at the press conference after was quite sombre, and he sort of alluded to it. He goes, when that shoulder's out for a long time, he's done one himself. He knows what it's like. Who goes in, Coops? This is the big one. Well, Tyron Wishart.
Yeah, naturally,
he and Grant Anderson got the job done. They did a fantastic job. Or is it Jonah?
He's a good player, Wishart, but I think he's so valuable to have on the bench. I don't know if Hughes gets back, so I think if they still want to win the title, I think Jonah Pezzett, pure 7, comes in. Munster's game needs to go to another level. Harry Grant's game did. In the second half, it absolutely went for another level. You get Pappenhausen back. There's enough there to lead this team to the grand final. But I think Jonah Pezzett probably needs to be a halfback material, because Wishart comes on and the point of difference he adds is different, because they don't have that dynamic ball runner off the bench. He can come on and play any position, and he adds value to that ball playing 13 because he's dynamic enough to break it open a little bit. So,
and you know, you convinced me. My initial thought was Tyrone, but what you just said there, and the thing about it is, if you know they're struggling a little bit for creativity, you can put Tyrone onto the field and play him that 13 role and alleviate a bit of the pressure off him.
Because then a lot of pressure will go to Munster. Like if you're in opposition thinking that, you know, Wishart is there, a lot of focus will go to Munster, but you need someone else to take advantage of, particularly with some of the kicking as well.
If Jahrome is ruled out for, you know, if tomorrow they say, look, we're going to need surgery, he's out for the rest of the year, should the Storm remain favourites?
I had them clear favourites with him available. I think they are still in the top line of betting, but I think other teams sit alongside them. They come back to the field. There's no doubt about that. Should
Raiders be favourites, or do you think that all of a sudden the locomotive's coming along, Penrith?
Yeah, look, I can understand why people would be saying Penrith. I still feel like their energy tank could be zapped at any stage. Like
Gotcha.
It could just be, you know, the ejection button hitting pretty quick. Storm, for me, I really love the confidence that the Raiders are playing with. I do have a worry that they're going to get to prelim final day and are not bright lights or anything like that, but I just hope that doesn't happen. The Dogs, I think defensively they can. They scored 40 points against Manly, but Manly aren't an elite defensive team, right? So I think defensively they can beat an opposition Bulldogs. I just don't know about their attack stopping sort of Penrith or anything like that.
Let's have a talk about Penrith and their progression. Talk about a bit of them here. One of the things I really like is I saw it last week and Schneider was in the 7 and, of course, Nathan comes in this week. Everyone's in their right spots. Suddenly their attack is really synchronised again. There was a terrific try where you see Nathan plays really tight, 1 under, 2 under, out the back to Blaze. Blaze catches it. This is it here. Just this is an example. Everyone's perfectly synchronised.
Yeah, that's a beautiful pass.
Isn't it a great pass?
Like the metre or half a metre that Jenkins needs to put the ball down is everything that Nathan does here. The time and intent. This Blaze pass, that's phenomenal.
A question there, Coops. Is that pass a preemptive pass, or do you think, almost in his mind's eye, he felt the winger coming outside in?
No, he's gone into the line, realised that Nathan Cleary went deeper, and if Nathan's pass is half a centimetre higher or lower, he doesn't get that pass. The fact that it hit, he was able to catch it on the same plane and get it across. The thing about Penrith's attack that I like, and people will say this whole, this structure and system versus play with freedom and eyes up.
Yeah.
Right. The one thing that Penrith, when they got in trouble, was it was predictable and slow.
Yep.
Now, all of a sudden, their play the ball speed is quicker and their passes are centimetre perfect every time.
Yeah.
And the fact that it is predictable, teams can still not stop it.
I love their attitude, Penrith, too. I thought at the start of the year, they can, of course, it's a very complex attack. Oftentimes, it does get a little bit too sideways.
Yeah, it does.
But on the weekend, in the last couple of weeks, the short passing, the attitude they're going to play through an opposition, not around it. And we've got a few cuts here of it working. And, there's one of the ones I really enjoy where a couple of times they throw a longish pass, and then on the end of that, it's really short passing. Like,
beautiful pass.
I mean, that's an example there. Tried Lindsay Smith playing through the opposition, not around.
So you've got Isaiah and Nathan Cleary. Look, another short pass. Like when you've got two of the best ball handlers in our game, put options inside and out them and let them make the right decision. When they're a metre out of sequence or not in the right hole, then it doesn't matter if you're Nathan or Isaiah. You're not going to come up with the right play. But Penrith ball runners are in the right spot at the right time for Nathan and Yo to do their thing.
Yeah, just a little like, and there's this one here, right? But it's just an example. It's the realisation when he jumps, McLean just goes right. Yeah.
That play the ball speed wasn't happening 12 weeks ago.
No, it wasn't.
Yep.
No.
They're generating it through their power running and they're all in the right place at the right time.
Coops, if you're going to, let's talk about my train spotting this week. And if you're a ball player and you're going to the line and you're looking to pass short, you've got a responsibility to get your target defender. But your ball runner's got a responsibility to leave his man and hit the right half of the hole. And I love this one here from Liam Martin. He actually uses his footwork before the ball hits his hands. This is the one.
Yeah, try time.
And dip.
Yeah.
There you go. And just that fade and that late straighten, he just leaves Luai with footwork. Yeah. He actually beats the player before the ball hits his hands.
Yeah, we've seen centres do the out ball and then cut back in sometimes. That time, Nathan got to the exact right defender, and that's Jahrome Hughes. That's a guy who knows exactly what's coming. And the fact that it looked like he was going to run to the outside shoulder of Hughes and cut straight back in on the pass, that was a good ball. That was one of the better tries I saw.
Watching Nathan yesterday, Coops, it was like one thing, the bloke you played alongside, Cameron Smith, and he just mosey around Smithy sometimes, and it was like his pulse never went above 60 beats.
Yep.
That was Nathan yesterday. I was watching Nathan at times, and he was actually, there were times that he was putting the hammer down a little bit, but most of the time he was just cruising around, barely broke sweat.
Yeah, that try, the kick for Tungle, the boomerang kick, right? He sat there, and it felt like he was there for 12 seconds, holding the ball, rotating it around, and just guided it through. Like, that was the amount of rotations that had to spin away from the goal line, beat Luai and for Tungle to get there.
Right.
Very impressive.
The bloke who we didn't talk a lot about coming out of this game, but was again phenomenal, and he flies under the radar just because he does it every single week, is Dylan Edwards.
Fly under the radar, Edwards.
No, I'm talking about his performance. Yesterday we weren't talking, like what we should have been talking about was going, mate, what about Dylan Edwards? Yeah. But we're so used to him doing this.
Yeah, it's almost the standard we accept.
It's the standard.
Now. Yeah.
So I said to the producer, Scotty, I said, mate, just cut up all these touches. Unfortunately, it nearly went for, it was about 4.5 minutes. So we're just showing all these touches in the first half, right? And the amount of work he gets through. Yeah. And you'll see it with him, the amount of work he does in yardage, and again, just, there's that short ball playing again, but he's just always poking his nose through. I think the term, and you blokes use it all the time at Melbourne, it's a key word, relentless. He just can't be discouraged.
Yeah. He looks fitter. He looks like he's moving so much better than what he was in the early part of the year. I think it was like a quad or a groin injury that he had. He just looked a bit slow, but now, last 2 weeks, his performance last week without Cleary and Yo was phenomenal. It was like 30 carries, 300 metres, 2 tries, like he did it all, and he's done it again here. Just so reliable. And it's one of the things that Nathan probably and Ivan love coaching him, is you just know what you're going to get. Yeah. And when you're a gun halfback, if you know what you're going to get from your fullback, it makes your job so much easier.
And Coop, what a difference, when you see the kick downfield and you got Edwards on 1, To'o on 2, oftentimes Edwards on 3, there might be McLean on 4, and you can understand then why they're able to grind a side down their forwards, because they just take so much pressure off.
I'll give you a good example. I was the same with Cameron Smith, so I didn't really have to worry about plays 1 to 3 because I knew it was under control with Cameron. He would take us to the field position, he could do whatever he wants to get there, and I could start looking at the outside defence. Okay, that winger's moving up, this one's not. Gotcha. So I had an idea what my kick option was going to be, and then when I get the ball, I'm in the best spot for the back rower or Billy to be around. So there's a freedom in allowing people to do their job, and when they do it at the highest level like Dylan Edwards, as a halfback, geez, it helps. And the other thing is Isaiah Yo. Like, he does the same thing for Nathan. So he's got this 2-pronged attack where he knows he can just let plays 1 and 2 go. He knows he can start thinking plays 4 and 5 ahead.
Geez, I tell you what, Coops, there's been some amazing coaching performances this year. Ricky Stewart, who's red hot favourite to get Coach of the Year. Cameron Ciraldo, his side continues to emerge and develop. Ivan Cleary, if they snatch this premiership, given how much he's had to manage this run in, it might be his crowning glory.
Yeah, say they're on Dally M night and he's in the grand final team again. Like,
I know. He's never won the Dally M Coach of the Year. He's never won it. Someone hates him. It might be Buzz. No, and then a bloke we don't think about a lot, but we've started talking about him, Jason Rolls.
Well, I think Ricky's a shoo-in. That's my personal opinion, but I agree with Jason Rolls.
Chief, mate.
Yeah.
What a job. He has had that much to deal with, and you could, at the start of the season, Coop, that first third of the year when he had no Mitchell Moses, they were getting some floggings. He was having to blood more and more young blokes every week. You could see the strain, but my God, they've turned it around.
It looked like it was going to be a really hard year after the first month, but done a really good job. And I think there's not too many players in the competition that completely changed the chances of their team. Mitchell Moses is one of them. They are, 15 points, 16-point better team with him at halfback. Both sides of the ball. One, I think they're more disciplined defensively because of his communication. And in the attack, it's obvious. They're just everywhere they need to be because he's calling the plays.
He's playing good football.
Yeah, he's playing
just
really
the confidence. Well. He's always been a kid who's had that healthy arrogance.
Yeah.
The great players have got to have that healthy arrogance, and he's a bit of strut about him, but deservedly so.
Yeah. his kicking game has gone to another level.
What about that? We talk about his kicking.
Yeah. So I just like the fact that here, just different stages, he gets the ball here and he realises that he wants to kick the ball, and he just gets pushed in, there's pressure, but Lomax is actually quite free on the outside. So he goes in the line as it plays on. He gets pressured. He thought the kick was on through the back, right? The next play, he gets it. He gets out the back and he's kicking first time every time here. Watch the space here. He knows that Karapani's come up and that play is on an absolute dime. So what he's done, he's taken a mental note in a few moments, gone, you know what, Lomax was free. I should have played over there. Next time I'm coming down here, I'm doing this. This was just before half-time. This is the play after half-time, so he's just gone the kick. He's gone, okay, I'm going to go set it up again. And when he gets the ball, he looks and realises that Karapani's sat back now because Lomax is a threat to kick. So he goes, you know what, I'm going to pull out the other play, and hits Will Penassia on an out ball and takes advantage of the winger being stepped back.
Yeah.
That is the level that every halfback needs to get to take mental notes early in the game, to then take advantage of it late. I thought it was a stunning... And you think about how close that game was. Mitchell Moses just nailed it. Footy
and
IQ.
Dylan Walker has been an exceptional pickup.
Yep.
When we're talking about the strain he was under at the start of the year, they just couldn't get their attack going. But when they bought him from the Warriors, the moment he went on that field and started operating through the middle as a 13, everything changed.
Yeah. There's only one Isaiah Yeo, but I'll tell you what, Dylan Walker's doing a very good job.
Yeah.
He can get a little bit too pass happy, in my opinion. I think he's big enough body to run first and then pass. But this is a guy that he played for New South Wales Australia in the centres.
Yeah.
He's now moved into the middle of the field and playing his best footy.
Playing great.
Yeah.
Played very, very well at the Warriors. I was surprised when they allowed him to go. On best signings of the season, I've got Dylan Walker as one of them. The other two, I've got Adam Fanua-Blake.
Yep.
And oftentimes, we're still really waiting for the Sharks to hit their straps. We thought they were about to, and a little step back on the weekend against South. But again, mate, every time he gets the ball, he's just poking his nose through. I've gone James Fisher-Harris just on the back of, he's giving Andrew Webster what he was after, and that's presence and leadership.
I'm going to put you on the spot. Who won that by, Fisher-Harris or Adam Fanua-Blake? You have to choose one of them. Who's been the winner out of that?
That's so hard. If you go on purely on yardage...
Yeah. No, overall pack, like everything. Like who's won that deal? So Fanua-Blake leaves and Fisher-Harris comes in.
It's hard, Coops. It's almost... If I watch with soft eyes, and I've got no understanding about what James Fisher-Harris does off the field and gives, I say Adam Fanua-Blake.
Yep. But on-field performance, Fanua-Blake has more impact on a game.
Yep.
But I tell you what, I think James Fisher-Harris wins that trade because the next forward that we're all going to marvel at in New Zealand will come through in 4 years' time because of the example of Fisher-Harris.
Halasima, yeah.
Like, seriously, he is doing things that because of the example of Fisher-Harris. So I've got Fisher-Harris as my number one.
Leo Thompson, and I think I've said this before on the show, the big turnaround in his career, he's this young guy coming through at Newcastle. Maybe he wasn't coming on as quick as they thought. Goes into Maori All-Star camp, rooms with James Fisher-Harris, and they say comes back to Newcastle, completely different bloke.
Yep.
That's
I agree
exactly
with
what we're talking about.
So I've got Fisher-Harris as well. I think Blaze Talangi has been a big pickup. I like what Ivan's done with his sort of trajectory. Didn't pick him for the first bit, needed to improve in a lot of the areas. And then his running mate, Nathan Cleary's just mentored his ball playing and running game. He's doing things that Nathan, I can see in his performances that have been coached by Nathan.
Yep.
So I think Blaze Talangi's up there. And I'm going to put Shibasaki in. From where he's come from to what he's doing now, phenomenal. There's a couple of really, good buys, but they're my three for the year, no doubt. What do you make of the Broncos, mate? What do they need to do?
I think there's a lot of areas. The willingness to not get frustrated and try to blow sides away.
Yep.
Willing to sort of sit in that armrest a little bit longer. Tell you the other thing, just purely from attack point of view, is I think they're playing too much half-field football.
Yep.
It's working to the middle. I think the Broncos are a team that can play a little bit of structured football, but only to penetrate past the scrum line.
Yeah.
It's all, working away, work your little smart little plays, but purely to gather defenders, get past the scrum line and open the field
So
up.
trying to get Reece Walsh and Ezra Mam like one-on-one with space so they can use their speed and footwork.
And Coops, because if you're not, on that long sweeping movement, even if you aren't going to beat them in one, like we talked about last week, it disrupts the defence, and all of a sudden there's an offload at the back or a quick play of the ball, and that's when Ezra and Reece start to carve through the middle. I'll give you an example here. It ends up being a forward pass, but you see the difference about how much more dangerous it appears, like this here. Like, for me, they need to do more of that. They've got to open up the field a little bit. I like the structured stuff, as I said before, it's a means to an end. And I think the structured stuff is very good to get himself past the scrum line, but then straight away, shot it, go bang, hit him over the other side of the field.
Yeah, Reece overplayed his hand on that. Like when Reece got the ball, he was outside of Hawkins, he had speed, and he could have done something. So when he gets the ball here, he's outside that 3-in defender. If he hits Jesse Arthurs now, it's probably a line break down the right-hand side. He's just trying to do way too much and trying to win with every play. And like I think about the Broncos, and they're starting to get frustrating because I feel like they need a lightning bolt moment.
I know.
Like if they just get it together, I think a grand final opportunities there for them. Like I remember the analogy, but Reece Walsh and Billy. Like I think there's a bit of on Adam Reynolds to wheel or reel him in a little bit, Reece Walsh, because the team is first and they had an opportunity doing all the right things and playing the long game. They come out of that second half and just started making errors, forward passes, ball on the deck, and it gave Parramatta, who was at the bottom of the ladder, an opportunity to stay in the game. If they had have just put the foot down in the first 5 or 10 minutes, I think Brisbane win by 20.
Yeah. Do you know, Coops?
So I think Adam Reynolds needs to have a strong conversation with Reece Walsh and say, listen, and Ezra Mam, and say, listen, we're a chance of doing something this year. Stop doing that. I'll get you in the position, but you need to execute your play.
Bunnies this week. And do you know what? They nearly got out of jail. That last little play with Reece, it was just a metre offside. If I'm, as far as the long term, what I mean is when they move into the finals, I think the loss will do them more good than the win. If they'd have snuck away and snuck through and scored that try, I don't know if they learn the lessons that a loss will give them. This loss might be the lightning bolt.
Yeah, well, they have been having those wins where they've gotten away through pure talent in the last period of time. If they win games 14-8 for the next 3 weeks, I think that's much better than winning 40-4.
Yeah,
for the Broncos' chances in September.
Yep.
They were doing all the right things in the first 40 minutes. Like, I saw the game and they were, playing long, they were doing high percentage plays, but then it just took a couple of moments where they just went risk first reward. And in saying that, like Reece turned the game and almost won it himself with that footwork through the middle to set up a try for Billy Walters. I'm not saying that you don't put the cue in the rack, but it's about managing the gap between your best and your worst, and that's where winning happens.
Good. Let's run through a couple of predictions and stuff that's going on in the game at the moment. Right, who plays grand final day?
Storm and Raiders.
Okay.
I'm giving Brisbane and Penrith a big chance, and the Dogs, but I think those two get through. What do you got?
Yeah, I got Storm Penrith, but the Raiders. Yeah, it would be if Jarome's ruled out, I go repeat of the 1990-91 Raiders against Panthers.
Yeah, so the Raiders one, I really liked them. And the one question mark I have, I think Ricky, I think that forward pack off the back of 2019, those players are still around. But their young outside backs just can't get stage fright in a prelim final. Other than that, I think, they're confident at the moment.
Who's been the 3 best players this year, Coop, so far?
I think Tedesco will probably win the Dally M. I think Isaiah Cartel is going to be in the race with him. And just through performances, probably won't win the Dally M, but in terms of like individual performances at different stages, I'll put Cam Munster in there.
Yeah, right. Gotcha.
They've been tremendous.
Yeah, I've got an Isaiah Cartel, Tedesco and Kaya Weeks. I sort of have them placed together. They're hard to split with. And I've got to mention Harry Grant. Again, Harry's one of those blokes like Dylan Edwards where you just go, well, you just expect him to be excellent. Just a couple of quick ones, Coop. 3 most underrated players this season.
Connor Tracy, Tom Starling, Josh King.
Yeah.
Tremendous this year.
I've got Nick Meaney, Zach Hosking, and I've got Capewell. I know he's played Origin and everything, but his contribution, I think, continues to be understated. Mate, long list of next coach up candidates. You know, Willie Peters, Blake Green, Kevy, Demetrio, Walker Brothers, Josh Hannay. If it's a coach's draft, who's the number one pick?
Billy has a big rap. You hear him publicly speak about what Josh Hannay's done at Origin.
I think.
And Fitzgibbon's a good example for how to go about coaching. So that's for me.
My understanding is some of the raps that Billy has given Josh Hannay have been enormous, saying that he doesn't win that State of Origin series without Josh. I think he's next coach up. I think at the moment it's very, very interesting to see what's going to happen with teams like, particularly Newcastle and the Gold Coast, because I reckon both of those clubs have got their eye on him. It's just who jumps first.
Who jumps first to pull the trigger to get the guy they want. Who you got? Who's your coaching candidates?
I've gone Josh Hannay. I think Willie Peters. There's a real opportunity for someone to give a crack to the Walker Brothers and the way they play. Totally different style. I'm always a big fan of, teams not trying to play diet Melbourne. Having their own style of football, they would deliver that. So, but Hannay's my number one. I think Hannay's is the next one. Beauty, mate. Good one.
See you, mate.